In 1346, the incredibly wealthy Genoese port of Kaffa, the shining jewel of the Silk Road, was besieged by Janibeg Khan, the supreme ruler of the Golden Horde. The Mongol army, tens of thousands strong, completely surrounded the city, but their arrows and swords could not breach the Genoese's formidable, double-layered stone walls. Brute force failed entirely, and the siege entered a grueling, months-long stalemate, while Kaffa, completely open to the sea, continued to receive fresh supplies and wine via ships. The proud Mongol army wore down, freezing and starving in the thick mud at the bottom of the walls. The entire course of the war changed, not with the clash of swords, but with the silent arrival of rats and the deadly fleas they carried from the deep Asian steppes, hidden within the Mongol army's grain supply wagons. The Black Death, a microscopic monster which humanity had never encountered before, silently infiltrated the camp. The disease spread so quickly and insidiously that Mongol soldiers began dying rapidly, coughing up black blood, with terrifying black buboes appearing on their groins and necks. The massive camp, once echoing with war cries, turned into an open-air plague cemetery, filled with thousands of soldiers dying before they could even draw their swords. Unable to stomach his legendary army melting away before his very eyes, and driven mad by the mocking silence of the Genoese walls, Janibeg Khan gave the ruthless order that would forever change the course of human history. The massive wooden catapults, which had failed to destroy the walls with heavy stones, were this time loaded with a far more terrifying ammunition. They were loaded with the swollen, rotting corpses of his own soldiers who had just died from the disease. As one of the very first biological weapon attacks in recorded history, the plague-ridden bodies were violently hurled over the high walls of Kaffa, turning the sky dark with death. The infected corpses that breached the walls rained down on the prosperous city, violently shattering in the narrow streets, on the rooftops, and worst of all, directly into the public water wells. Plague-infected black blood and rotting flesh mixed into the city's precious drinking water reserves in a matter of seconds. Moreover, highly infected fleas from the shattered bodies immediately jumped onto the healthy, terrified citizens below. The arrogant Genoese, who truly believed their perfect stone walls would protect them from any danger, were left completely defenseless against this nightmare raining from the sky. The disease spread like wildfire through the claustrophobic streets of Kaffa, turning the once glorious city into an inescapable hell. Wishing to escape this horrifying, unavoidable death, the panicked Genoese grabbed whatever gold and silk they could carry, piled frantically into the large galleys at the port, and set sail into the dark sea. However, they were completely unaware that the plague had already infiltrated those very ships, hiding silently on the clothes of the people, the fur of the rats, and the bellies of the fleas. These magnificent trading ships, sailing desperately from the Black Sea towards the Mediterranean, were now functioning as massive, floating carriers of death. When the heavy wooden hatch covers of those doomed galleys finally reached the port of Messina, Sicily, in 1347, and were opened, plague-ridden rats stepped onto the sunny European mainland. From that single cursed port, the disease quickly and mercilessly spread from Italy to the furthest corners of Europe, ultimately causing the agonizing death of 1/3 of the entire continent's population. The brutal siege of Kaffa and the subsequent unstoppable spread of the Black Death completely collapsed the old feudal system in Europe, and shattered the dogmatic medieval mindset forever, unintentionally paving the rocky way for the Renaissance. The once invincible Golden Horde Empire, which had arrogantly started this biological apocalypse out of pure spite, could not escape the devastating, lingering effects of the plague either, slowly rotting away and fading into the dark shadows of history.